so I'm going to call this meeting to order at 5:59, March 2nd, 2026. Can we have a roll call?
Yes. For the record, Chair Madrigal is absent by prior arrangement. And we have Julian Lopez
Here.
and Alan Sanders,
Here.
Christine Herbert here, and Deirdre Lamb. Here. Great. And for the record, we have county staff planners here available. Myself, Jesse Waldman, acting as the executive secretary, also presenting. We have senior planner Mark Kleiser present, as well as Sandy Adriano presenting this evening from Mendocino County Planning and Building Services.
All right. And was there proper legal notice?
Proper
established?
notice has been established.
Okay. Like to vote to approve the minutes, February 2nd, 2026.
I'll second.
Okay.
Yes, then.
Just
Okay, go ahead.
for the record, the chair does not motion.
Okay.
I would ask the board for a motion.
Okay, ask the board for a motion.
Unless there's any problems, no.
I'll second the motion, Alan.
I'll propose
Are you
the motion.
making the
I'll
motion?
motion.
Okay,
I did
I'll
not
second
think so,
Alan's
yeah.
motion.
All right, thank you.
Would
So-
you like to draw an order or just all in favor? What would you like?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
No vote.
Has there been any correspondence that's been received for items not posted on the agenda?
If I may, through the chair. Planner Waldman, Mendocino County Planning and Building Services. Our office did receive an email that came forwarded to the Planning and Building Services from the Mendocino City Community Services District that was forwarded from the Department of Transportation with information from the Department of Water Resources, a state agency, regarding water security resource alerts and a Department of Water Resources water tank program. This public comment is for information purposes only. It was emailed and it has been posted on our website for the record. Should you have questions, please read the email. At the bottom, there says next steps and it says eligible applicants can contact Elena Misagi. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing their last name right. You can contact Elena Misagi at the Department of Water Resources. Her email is in that email. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we'll move on to public expression. The review board welcomes participation. Comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per person and not more than 10 minutes for a subsequent agenda item, so that everyone may be heard. Public expression items are limited to matters under the jurisdiction of the review board that are not on today's meeting agenda and items that were not previously considered by the board. Would anybody like to speak? Welcome.
Thank you.
Could you please state your name for the cameras?
Yeah.
I'm Kitch local building contractor. I'm here at the request of a client of mine, Alinka Flamena. She owns a property down on Kelly Street where we were putting in a small walkway, flagstone walkway around her property. We were subsequently red tagged this week by the Mendocino County. I met code enforcement out there early in the week. They didn't think there was a problem. They went back to planning staff, and I guess a determination was made that this type of pathway would need to become before the jurisdiction of the Mendocino Historical Review Board. I expressed to county planners that I had never seen such a thing where landscaping and pervious pathway systems were, under the jurisdiction of the Historical Review Board, and we were told, no, we're gonna have to get a Historical Review Board application and permit filed for this. Of course, my clients were really unhappy with that, and I spoke to them today, and they suggested I come to the meeting today and bring it to the attention of the Review Board. It's been my experience as a builder on the coast here for 30 years that landscaping and that sort of thing are basically exempt from historical review with the exception of actual paving, hardscapes, large tree removals, earth structures, you know, that sort of thing. What I would consider, you know, diminuous or extremely small side yard improvements, I've never seen come before the historical review board. So I wanted to bring that to attention. Barring some change on these folks' end, you know, we would end up having to jump through and pay all the fees associated with the historical review board permit application for a side yard path. Doesn't seem like the direction we in this town want to go. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have questions with public comment?
Are we allowed to make a comment with that?
Yeah, okay, Deidre?
Oh, I'd like to make a comment.
Could I say one more thing before you do?
Sure.
Sorry. My request, I forgot to say what my ask is that if you guys are unable to deal with this at this meeting because it hasn't been agendized, to please agendize this issue so that we as a community can give direction to county about what we in fact want to be enforceable, what we want to see them work on. Thank you.
Well, I'd like to make a comment because kind of brings us back to the Kelly House Museum, who can't put their plants in the ground because somehow landscaping just choked them up with the planning and building. And then I went back and forth. I've been back and forth on landscaping with the project that Deborah Lennox brought forward, with the house that's going to be built across from the post office. And I went back and forth with Julia Krog, and she said that landscaping is not part of our purview. And then again, I had a different issue. We're doing an inventory of the town, and Ted Williams was by my office last week, and I asked him, does MHRB have purview over landscaping? He said, no, they don't. And so he said, if it's a coastal commission item, then it would, but that it's not part of our purview. So I don't know when it started coming up that it's part of our purview for landscaping.
I have a comment. I'm looking at section 20.760.030, work in historical zone A requiring approval. This is on page 642 of the Mendocino County Zoning Code. It says that any excavation of or deposit of material upon land in such a manner as to materially alter the existing contour or condition of the land, including leveling, grading, piling, paving, or installation of retaining walls, and walkways and driveways.
So what I think the issue is that that's county code. Does grading need to come to the Mendocino Historical Review Board for, let's say, a pathway? How do we define that? Because I think the definition is that if there are any exterior changes that are happening, we should have purview over that or have had it in the past. If somebody's changing the landscaping in their yard, I think it has come through the board before.
Right.
And I've heard people
Well,
talk about it, but if they're saying, I'd like to hear, I don't know if
Let me just
Go ahead.
continue the thought, just to
Mhm.
make it crystal clear. This is the back of the Mendocino County zoning code is Historical Preservation District for Town of Mendocino. So there's a whole section on the MHRB purview at the back.
wow, so it's in there.
It's in there. And a lot of it's what we already know. So I was rereading a lot of it, but it does say here at the back that's excavation, deposit of material, and that's
right, but that's excavating. They're not excavating. He's putting some
No,
he's
I
putting some tiles in on
walked
this.
past it this
Swamp.
weekend or a few days ago, and there was a lot of ground being shifted around, large metal plates on the ground. So it looked like kind of it's a very small area next to that house, a very small yard. But it did look like they were moving a lot of land, and there were large metal plates and
If I could,
scoopers.
Thank you, Justin.
the definition that you're reading there, to me, is about alterations to the landscape. where you are in fact changing the grade permanently, or you're putting in a driveway that is a permanent change of the grade, we didn't alter the grade at all in that yard. All we did in that yard was remove some of the topsoil underneath where the flagstones go, put in some compacted material to make the flagstones not sink into the dirt. The plates that you refer to were just so that we could cross that ditch with the stone without damaging the ditch. The plates are removed. So the way I would look at that code is if we were putting in a new encroachment, or we were building a retaining wall, or we were raising the grade substantially and changing the overall grade, then that code would come into play. But if you're putting a pathway down and you're maintaining the existing grade, I don't see how.
Now, are you saying though that job, if protecting the rule book, needs to go through county?
I don't think it does. I've never seen in 30 years. I've never seen in 30 years that a pathway like that would be something that the county would have any interest in.
Yeah.
Even in an over-the-counter permit. I mean, we used to be able to get over-the-counter permits for building decks and replacing siding and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
this is like the tiniest little thing. The idea that we've got code enforcement, we've got this idea that you guys are gonna have to waste your guys' time, my time, Carpenter's time. We're really boxing ourselves into a corner as a community if we're gonna start micromanaging people's side yards to this level. That's my concern.
Okay, to the chair.
Yes, sorry.
Okay, so it was my understanding that decks add on lot coverage, is that correct, Jesse? And patios don't. And so I think flagstones and patios, I don't know.
Okay, yeah. Can I ask Jesse to comment on any of this? I don't know if there's anything that we've said that was incorrect here in our little conversation. I'd love some clarity. Okay, Alan?
Ask one question first.
Yes, go ahead.
So, Ishvi, so you actually have code enforcement telling you that you can't do this unless you go to the MHRB. Is that the bottom line?
Correct, we currently have a stop work order on the project.
Okay, all right, red tagged it. Yeah,
Well,
that's what I wanted to
somebody
make clear.
complained.
So, yeah, we can't turn that over tonight, but we can at least figure out a path forward, I guess.
If I may through the chair. A couple of things have been said tonight that are, just for clarification, the Mendocino Town Zoning Code, Chapter 20.760 is all about what is required and what are the standards and what is exempt from the Mendocino Historical Review Board. And specifically, Section 20.760.03.OE says that sidewalks requires MHRB approval, and there is an extensive sidewalk that has been installed that will not count as lot coverage that is regulated through the Mendocino Town Zoning Code. So the walkways that are in question require MHRB approval, review, and approval to proceed forward per the Mendocino County Zoning Code. To alter that, it would require an amendment to the zoning code to change that. That has been in our code since this adoption, which was done in 2023. The section code for the record regarding lot coverage, that flagstone, bricks per patios do not count as lot coverage. There is a reference in our zoning code, Mendocino Town Zoning Code, section 20.608.031M, regarding lot coverage. This clearly specifies what counts as lot coverage and what doesn't count as lot coverage. The review board does not have authority to reduce lot coverage or maximize lot coverage, but we do have authority over walkways specifically in those guidelines. And there is no exemption for walkways in the 760 chapter, the 20.760 chapter. So there's no exemption for walkways to be allowed in the town of Mendocino without the review board's code per our zoning code. Last thing I want to add is that if there's any question about grading, the Division 3 for the Mendocino Town, both Zone A and Zone B, have a very different grading allotment that could be exempt from a coastal development permit, and that is 25 cubic yards. That is not in question with this project at all. This site specifically with code enforcement is about the walkways that are being installed without the review board's approval. Staff has heard the questions and the comments that have come up from the public, and we will take it back to the director regarding the discussion about landscaping versus walkways and our code. Our code's very specific about walkways. It is not very specific about landscaping. And to conclude my presentation, I would like to say that there's also a time limit allowed for public comment, and that would conclude.
On different topics, though, I think we were talking about the walkway, and then he was talking about code.
So,
Potentially.
I have a question for clarification. You talk about walkways, Ishvi said pathway. It's not clear to me from what you read of the code that it seemed to be sidewalks that we were talking about, not necessarily pathways around houses. So having not seen it, I'm not clear exactly where this disputed piece of pathway is being added. Is it a sidewalk or is it internal to the property?
It is internal to the property, and the code is specific to walkways.
It is, I thought you said sidewalks. That's
She
not
did,
right.
but
I'm sorry, the code is very specific to walkways and driveways, specific to the code that's been mentioned many times for requirement and zoning.
There was that idea.
And so
Well-
staff will take this to the director, as this is a code enforcement case, and our office can handle can assist with the code enforcement department regarding interpretation of walkways versus landscaping.
yeah.
That's already,
I think at the end of the day, it's in the county rule book. It's not really, I mean, we can draft something, just if we all, are in agreement to send something to Julia Krog to say that, we think that this should be removed from our purview potentially, or at least for this specific, case. But, I mean, if in the county code, it says that there needs to be a permit or, we don't really have purview over that. That's kind of what
Can I just make it?
yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Jesse. Yes, if you could make some clarification and bring it back next month, that would be great.
I mean, it's a bummer for him though, because they have everything down there and they're
Yeah.
working on it and they got red flagged.
Yeah,
I don't,
yeah,
if I may through the chair.
you finished?
yeah.
What I'm hearing is that one of the board members would like to ask staff we're being directed to bring something
Yeah.
back to the board regarding walkways or landscaping.
Well, both, the landscaping, we've brought up 3 times in the past 3 months.
We brought it up last week
We
for,
we brought it for the Kelly House, but also for another application, which I talked to Deborah at the post office today, is coming before us again next month, which is the building that's gonna be built across from the post office. So yes, it would be good to get some clarification, because I'm getting mixed messages from Julia Acker and our supervisor from planning. So I would like some clarification.
you want clarification on,
Landscaping and
Landscaping.
walkway, while she's at it, yeah, sure, why not?
So you want to know whether it's a walkway as in a sidewalk or a pathway as in,
I think they're separate. I think there's a sidewalk condition and a walkway driveway condition.
That was really the question I was asking.
yeah, that's Alan's kind of, it's the distinction between, could possibly be clarified.
I'll have to.
But we have had to review many, or at least in my year and a half, we have reviewed many applications for pathways for the hotel they're redoing in the middle on Ukiah. So we do approve pathways specifically, like aggregate materials and whatnot.
Jesse?
So what's the agenda item for next?
So
That's
I
what we
would
need
need
to do, an agenda
a
item.
clear motion and a second and a vote on what staff should be bringing back. And what I hear is being described is I believe we have a motion on the table for staff
Do you want to second that?
to get, for the record, the motion is to get clarification about sidewalks, walkways, and landscapings and the purview under NHRB.
Yes.
That's what I hear. And the chair would need a second and then we would need a vote.
Can you include this specific project in that motion?
Not really, she'd have to make an application to include this
I-
project.
Okay.
We
Yeah.
can't look at a single project, but we can get the information of every project.
Yeah.
Is it within our rights to do a site visit before our next agenda discussion?
Only if he makes an
I
application.
realize it won't be a request, but could we do a site visit?
Only if he makes an application, because otherwise it's
I'm
not.
asking the planning people whether that's legal.
So to legally enter any property without permission from the landowner as a civilian is by definition trespassing.
But if we got permission,
If you did a quorum, that would be breaking the Brown Act regulations. So if you wanted to do a drive-by and what is visible from public view shed, that is not considered a site visit that is encroaching upon anybody's privacy rights. If you wanted to do a site visit on any specific parcel within the town, you would need to have an application and a justification with a scheduled site visit in writing with permission from the landowners.
except what you just said is we cannot, as a board, decide to do a site visit, even if we have the owner's permission, we cannot do a site visit. That's what I think you just told me.
It would need to be an agendized,
It would need to have a permit before we could even do a site
an
visit.
application to submit it to Planning and Building Services.
Okay.
So what I hear is a motion on the table to bring back clarifications regarding sidewalks, walkways, and landscaping, and the purview of the review board.
Yes, so.
So there is a motion.
I made the
Who's
motion.
bringing this motion?
I'll
Okay,
make the motion.
I second.
Deirdre?
Yeah.
Please proceed with your motion.
I'd like to make a motion to have planning and building bring back the clarification of what the MHRB board is, what's under their purview for landscaping, walkways, and including trees.
I wanted to throw that in there.
Well, it's been done before.
Oh, yeah, no, that was the one thing that Julia said, is that trees are 6 feet or over, that is our purview.
Walkways and sidewalks.
So I'd like her to come back with some kind of clarification on what we,
So for the record, there is a motion on the table regarding clarifications for sidewalks, walkways, landscaping, trees, and the MHRB Mendocino Historical Review Board preview.
You said walkways and sidewalks.
Sidewalks, walkways,
Yeah,
landscaping,
I
and
wanted to make
trees,
sure that there was
and the
clarification.
purview. Is that the
I mean,
motion?
this isn't really gonna do anything other than just educate us.
No, I know, but I want to make sure we get those things differentiated, just in case we need it in the future, so.
Okay,
And you will get,
second that.
and the second is
Julian.
Julian Lopez. I don't know that you can.
Okay, then somebody second.
the chair.
Just,
I made the motion,
I
Justine
second.
second.
Thank you. I'm gonna do a roll call vote. Alan Sanders,
Yes.
Julian Lopez,
Yeah.
and Georgia Lamb,
Yes.
and Justine Herbert.
Yes,
Okay, staff will allocate our time to prepare, information. It will be at the next available hearing. I cannot guarantee it will be back by April. The staff will prepare something
Thank you.
as soon as
Thank
possible.
you, appreciate it.
All right, anything else from the public?
Just
Okay.
some level of apology to Fishview.
Yeah, I mean,
I think our hands are tied. I would really like to help you, but
I
I just
understand.
had to do it.
I understand, I wanted to bring it to your attention, thank you.
Okay.
Any notes or comments, Jesse? No, you're good? We're good to move on?
You would move on to the next.
Okay, there are 2 items on the consent calendar. Item 7A, MHRB, 2026, 1 green sign. And the bear sign in item 7B. The review board may hear public comments on the consent item before a motion is offered. Does the review board member wish to remove the consent calendar agenda item to the public hearing part of today's meeting?
Yeah, I'm good with it being set. Anyone else?
No, I'm good.
These 2 signs going up.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I lost track.
Basically, sorry, yeah, I did too, because it's kind of
We're
random,
on the
sorry.
consent, do we agree to say?
Basically, I would
You
say
don't
yes
have
or
it?
no to the signs that are proposed.
And if there's something you didn't like about the sign, you can take it off the consent
Can I
calendar
see
and
the signs?
discuss it with Rick.
Oh, I thought these were applications filed to.
They're not, they're
Oh,
consent
okay.
item.
Because we've kind of fast-tracked the sign thing, so that we can just kind of, they submit it, pay the fee, and then,
So if there's something you don't like about a sign, then we can pull it off the consent calendar and discuss it, but since.
Well, I would like to discuss it.
If I may.
yeah.
Sure, so right now what we're at is we're at the consent calendar, so do we have any items that need to be pulled from the consent calendar? And then we
Okay.
will not discuss it during the consent calendar, we would bring it to the normal public hearing.
Oh,
And
gotcha.
so if there is an item that needs to be discussed and pulled from the consent calendar, specify which one it is. And then, if it is not all of them, you would vote on the remainder, and
Okay.
that pulled item will go to public item and it'll move in the agenda.
Could I just make comments on it without pulling it from the consent calendar? Is that possible?
That's not the typical order of business.
So now I move on to the review board welcomes participation.
Well,
Not yet.
a
It's
board
not the sign.
member is questioning whether they need to pull an item from the consent calendar.
So, through the chair, if I may,
Yeah.
to Jesse, okay, so if an item is pulled and discussed, that would be tonight. It wouldn't go on a future agenda, we would discuss that particular item
Okay,
tonight.
I understand, okay.
And then, it would either pass or not,
Yes.
So would you like to state one of the two items to throw back later onto the meeting so we can talk about it?
Justine, the question on the table, if I may through the chair,
Mm-hmm.
the question on the table is, would you like to pull item 7A or 7B to discuss?
I had comments on both of them.
Okay.
Okay,
Alright.
so we will not accept the consent calendar, we will move the 7A to public hearing items.
All right. And now
So
we're down to the,
In
is
which
the board
case,
in agreement of that?
yes, I'm in agreement. Are we in agreement?
Do we have a motion on the vote?
well,
I believe that that's the proper order of
Okay,
business, I've
yeah.
never had a whole consent calendar pulled.
Do we have a
Yes.
motion to vote for the,
and if I may,
yeah,
the applicant is here, so he can Discuss.
We can address it.
the
Okay.
board member's chair,
so do we have a motion to move the consent calendar to the,
Justine, you
I
wanna make
make a
that motion?
motion to, excuse me, I make a motion to pull them off the consent calendar for discussion.
okay, do we have a second?
For a second.
Okay. You make a vote?
You can do a vote,
I
or
can-
you can say all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays?
No,
Yeah, no.
No nays, okay. And then
it's not signs.
Julian,
Mm-hmm.
sorry to guide you so much.
Keep guiding me, because
Okay.
I'm lost now.
Okay, so now we're gonna go
To the public hearing?
to 7A, and we're gonna stay in the order of the agenda, and we're gonna go to 8A, the regularly scheduled public hearing item, and
Then we're gonna go back.
we'll bring those two back after,
All right,
okay.
so now we're on to, item, number 8A. It's, MHRB 2026-3, the Mangani, property. So it's a request for the removal of a structurally unsound brick chimney. The project, site and structure are category 1 Lima Saloon in the town of Mendocino Plan Appendix Inventory of Historic Structures. It's at 45170 Main Street. So we'll open this up to public hearing. The review board welcomes participation in the meetings. If you'd like to speak on the Mangani application, please use the podium. Please state your name for the record. Public comment is limited to 3 minutes per person. Speakers are asked to address their comments to the meeting chair. The staff will announce when you have 30 seconds remaining.
So what we're gonna do
Are we gonna
now
go-
is we're gonna have staff
Okay, we're gonna have staff talk first.
present it, we're at like number 2. We'll
Gotcha.
let her present, and then we'll go to number 3.
Okay,
The it's Julian.
Good evening, board members, Sandy Gadiano, staff planner. For my presentation, I would like to express a memorandum that came right before the meeting regards to a missing attachment A. At the time of the public notice that was issued for project MHRB 2026-0003, attachment A, which was the application for the project, was not included in the hearing packet. So that is now being provided and added for the record. I believe each one of you guys have what I in front of you. Alrighty, so as discussed at our site visit earlier today, just to recap, what brings us here today is the applicant's request for approval to remove a structurally unsound brick chimney on a Category 1, 2-story historic structure constructed in circa 1870s known as Medina Saloon. And it's located within the Mendocino Commercial Zoning District at 45170 Main Street. Its current use is retail on the ground floor and residential space on the second. This proposed project is a result after the now agent and contractor here present was hired to re-roof this historical structure as part of a routine maintenance project. And their initial visit inspection revealed that a hazardous, extensively deteriorated brick fireplace was which is approximately 5 feet, more or less, of the chimney was above the roof line. And as shown on attachment B of the packet, which is this photograph here, which I'm pointing to, the brickwork shows pronounced wear and weathering, and the mortar appears substantially compromised. In addition, sections of the newer brick and mortar are visible, suggesting possible prior repair attempts made several years ago. However, these appearances do not appear to have corrected the overall structure's decline. And we did see in this vertical files, also part of the packet, the original actual size of the chimney is actually almost half. I mean, this could possibly be maybe 2 to 3 feet high, so this was the original. And the applicant also shared that a professional masonry evaluation identified that the significant brick was deteriorated, there was mortar failure, and that the chimney was cracking and structurally shifting, amongst other deteriorating conditions. Therefore, the chimney poses a safety risk to occupants and the public, and it's urgent that it's removed, and that was determined by a professional viewer, and that it would be necessary to avoid continued deterioration as this could lead to collapse, which is being concerned. The applicant's original request is to remove the structurally compromised chimney, then frame and sheet the roof line, and install new roofing material over it to make it uniform with the entire roof. That was the original request. However, in order to comply with the Historical Review Board's principles, the applicant is also proposing to install a faux chimney that matches the original in proportion and character appearance. Staff found that the faux chimney would maintain the historical roofline appearance for historic compliance and the NHRB structural guidelines for exterior materials, architectural features, and the roof form. Also would not affect the exterior appearance as would remain in harmony with the district, and finds no adverse impact is expected on neighboring properties. And also no unnecessary destruction of historic character would take place, as no changes are proposed to the building height, the mass, pace of use, or any of the setbacks. And the installation of a proportionally accurate faux chimney ensures preservation of architectural character while addressing any public safety concerns. And I do have the applicant, Dakota Murray with Redwood Roofers, present, and he would like to introduce some possible examples of what a faux chimney or materials would look like, as well as share any concerns.
Thank you.
And Peter Fisher-Porter.
Oh, okay, well, I just go ahead and state your name for the record.
Dakota Murray, I'm the general manager Center of Redwood Roofers, hired by Mrs. Mangini with respect to re-roofing the structure. We pointed out to Ms. Mangini here that the chimney was listing away from the building, so it is leaning forward. As mentioned by Sandy, originally the chimney is the darker portion, some point along the lines, which we looked through photos, this chimney has grown. The desire, it seems like at that time, was to heighten the chimney above the ridge so that it would draw and function better. As mentioned during our original meeting, this chimney was capped off 40 or so years ago, so it is non-functioning at current. It will not be functioning ever again in the future because it is walled off and the chimney is filled in. So the question becomes what to do. We need to remove the chimney as it can't be repaired or rebuilt in its current status there. The desire obviously is to remove that as it's a safety issue for the building and the people below, and it's no longer in service. So the ask is what to do, as there's a variety of different examples of chimneys around town with respect to chases. We've got photos of the neighboring buildings here that have wooden chimney chases on them. There's obviously metal vestos, which would be the heating flues that exist in these buildings, and the question would be, what would be a possibility of putting something there that would aesthetically be pleasing but would not be brick. We built a brick model for the concept of faux brick, because I know that's the desire. There has been the desire for other properties. The issue with the faux brick is, although that it's lighter, this concept of putting this on concrete, putting this on concrete board and then building a frame around it would still be, even at the altered height there, would be still about 900 to 1,000 pounds. So it has been done around town, but it's generally when there's more extensive remodeling done, things where you can get into framing of the building. With us, we're looking to create shear by putting plywood in the building, but there is no addressing additional structural changes. Can I give a letter here from an architect with respect to the structural aspect of the building itself?
Submit one for the record.
Sure. So at current, there are no purlin bracings because there are no purlins in this structure. So all there are the 2x8 original from 140 years ago that are supporting the roof, wood shingles underneath, and then they applied asphalt shingles over it, which was at one point code. The concept is to remove existing asphalt shingles, wood shingles, install plywood, which would be the first time in 140 years that this building will get shear. We'll need to get General Builder to put in some purlins and some purlin straps to provide enough structure to hold the roof up. But the concept, obviously, of putting an additional structure on here that's going to be 1,000 pounds based on the existing 140-year-old framing is of concern to us that we're not creating, a hazardous situation by this upgraded concept here. So that is the ask of what can be done that would be in keeping with the aesthetic look. Like I say, the building next door that has a wood chimney chase, which is the building to the east there. And then you have other heating flue pipes, which is essentially what this is around the village. So understanding that the desire to keep things historic, but we want to do something that's going to be safe and that is going to be supported by the building's current structure.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else?
No, I think
Yeah.
Well, there might be
Yeah.
questions.
What? Anything else you'd like to add?
Oh.
All good? Thank you so much for the great presentation. That was in-depth and very enlightening.
Staff's available for any questions.
Okay. Public hearings now opened. I already did my little grant, so now, yeah.
Rick Sachs, and hate to step on your toes, Dakota, but there, in the past, there have been issues that came up with somebody saying, well, this vinyl siding looks like wooden siding, but replacing the siding with vinyl would alter the historic character of a Category 1 building. And doing something that looks like but isn't is that same kind of thing where it changes what's historic. You know, I don't know if there's. Did you say there's no structure underneath it?
No. Yeah.
So I mean, it's.
You can rub the chimney and the mortar falls out on the floor. It's through the roof line. It's an extreme hazard at this moment. We got a permit from the county to remove it, actually demo it now, but I wanted to come before the board to talk about it before that happened. That was issued a couple months ago. This chimney, I don't know what's keeping it up there. And we've actually gone down there after the past few storms to make sure that it hadn't fallen off the building. So I do understand the desire to keep it, but unfortunately,
Yeah, it's like when the Catholic Church put up their signs that looked like wood, but it was really a foam. And it was, no, that is outside of the character of what's permitted. It's, we want wood. So,
I made it through the chair.
Yep, I think he's still going.
Come back to it, Rick.
Great, okay, thank you so much. All right, I guess that's public expression. We'll open it up to the board. Adrian?
Okay, well, after the site view, we drove down to Kelly Street, and there actually has been a faux chimney that has been built. And so we all went down and looked at it, and that's just the way it is. I mean, you can't, if you're gonna do a faux chimney, you can't do the same materials. It's falling apart.
that looks like a brick chimney to me.
Well, except for that you didn't see the interior pictures where the, underneath, it's all falling apart.
Yeah.
With the grout. It's not safe, you know, so.
So, can I ask for clarification? So the request is to remove the chimney, this is the question. So the request is to remove the chimney, and the opinion of Redwood roofers is that is extremely difficult, even with a false chimney, because of the weight. It would require extensive changes to the inside of the structure to do that. Is that?
that is correct. That's the
That is
issue
Okay.
with this idea.
So it's, even if we, whatever we decide, if we want to put a faux chimney or a real chimney, there's significant structural work to be done inside to make that happen.
Rebuilding that chimney isn't possible because it's
Yeah, but I mean,
putting the faux chimney.
either way, there is going to be serious structural work inside the
Correct.
or whatever we do.
What about eliminating the chimney?
Okay.
Eliminating the chimney, yes, I mean.
That's also.
Coming from an engineer, Alan.
Well, I want to be clear about what the
Yeah, I mean,
choices are.
that's-
I know.
It- the
I know.
choice is
I love the
to
way
put
your
chimney,
money works.
Or if you replace the chimney
I get
where,
it.
you know, which I heard, but the property owner isn't here, I guess, and they're willing to do, but I hear it.
They're willing to do what? I missed that.
To replace the chimney somehow, which I think I heard that. But that is an extremely difficult job in terms of structure, just to lay the facts out.
Yeah, I don't know the way to replace the chimney just due to the framing. There's no shear in the walls, so there's no shear in the roof. So I mean, you'd have to take like the whole east side of the building, all the siding off to get this down, to get framing into the foundation.
So rebuild it from the bottom, but
No, even to support a faux chimney, there's not enough structure in the roof or the walls, because this design was to hold up wood shingles, 104 years ago. The concept of having enough shear or structure in order to hold a 1,000-pound free-standing, free-floating item, which would be the faux chimney, isn't there. The chimney is supported by itself, because that chimney goes all the way down to the mud sills down below, where there's been a foundation since then, so it holds itself up now. But there isn't anything to put something that would weigh 1,000 pounds on the roof that would be able to secure that to the structure, because there isn't enough framing in the building to do that.
Thank you.
I have a question. Is the existing fireplace leading up to the roof line, is that decayed sufficiently that you could not put brick on top of it?
Correct. That's the unfortunate fact, and that's what that blow up there is actually shows the condition of the brick, and this is kind of a goofy scene, but this is below, looks better. This is below the roof line, so this is the actual roof part. This is you can, like I say, rub the brick and it comes off.
It comes
off in your hand. It looks like there was notching in the roof framing to accommodate the size of the chimney, so they actually cut the brick when they originally installed it. So it just.
I have a question.
Yes.
So you brought the faux chimney. Is that because you were just trying to demonstrate the weight and what it would weigh, or is there what would it require to put a faux chimney on top?
Because I knew that, like I say, the Morgan Mullen house, which is a house there that was rebuilt, basically they left one wall and I knew that this was what the desire is or has been in the past, is to build what we know as a faux chimney. But I know that a lot of folks don't understand what a faux chimney is, and I'll be honest with you, by the time we built it, I wasn't sure exactly the weight capacity of what that would take in order to do that anyway. So our thought was maybe this would be possible, but when we built out this and weighed it, we realized that it would be around 1,000 pounds, and looking at the structural framing and then meeting with Sam Waldman, he said there's no way that you could put this up here safely, and obviously our desired intention was to minimize, risk to anyone.
And you can't use the existing brick to stack?
No, it's not. It's no longer structurally sound, and that is below the roof line. It is decaying just due to age and conditions. There's no way to use the chimney to anchor anything off of, which is what we thought of as well.
Have you, in other jobs, have you built a chimney like this on other houses that?
We built, yes.
With old bricks or something? Or?
We've done similar stuff to this. We built faux chimneys. We've lined brick chimneys with other stones, things that weren't, people that don't like the look of what their chimneys are. We've lined them with other things, but those are things that aren't the age of what we're talking about. And like I say, the under framing of this building based on current standards and earthquake and things of that nature. It's built lightweight, because the roofing at that point was wooden shakes, which were extremely lightweight. It was never, thought of this many years in the future that you'd be looking to support something like this.
I understand. Can I go? Yeah.
Two things that seem like reasonable things to consider to me would be eliminating the whole thing and just having a roof. And I don't think that's gonna alter the historic look, and if there was gonna be the faux chimney, to just cut it short like it originally was, because they don't need that kind of height for the draft.
Yeah, I came into this thinking that the property owner's job is to maintain the historical nature of their property. So if they have a chimney, they maintain the chimney. And it's a category 1 building, and that's kind of what I came into the meeting thinking. If the agents, or if you're saying that there's no way to support it, that's where there's a little bit of an issue on our side. We don't want to make somebody have to rebuild an entire house just to put a chimney up. So that's my comment.
Are we back to
So back to-
Yeah, we're discussing. Sorry.
Are we closing the
Let me
public
ask
and now the board can discuss?
Yeah.
Let me
Okay.
ask another question, because Rick brought up an interesting point. So half a height chimney would be half a weight, which would be 500 pounds. Is that
No, that-
supportable?
Sorry. That was what we calculated on the old size. It was right between 960 and 1,000 pounds based on that.
On a shorter chimney.
That's correct, yes, sir.
On a shorter
Sorry.
chimney. Okay, that was.
I should have clarified.
Okay, sorry. I just.
Okay, well, I mean, I feel like maybe on a residential house, that maybe a chimney has to be there, but for me, I mean, drag me kicking and screaming in the 21st century, why do we have to even have them do a faux chimney? Why can't they just roof?
I think because all the homes used to have chimneys here, and it's part of the aesthetic
Yeah.
of the historic town.
There aren't.
Right.
I drove around and there aren't too many chimneys on the town left.
I mean,
Well, I just drove
well, there are
around
in
the square.
town. No, there's quite a few in
Well,
town.
I counted about 5
Oh,
going down
okay.
Main Street and round back.
Yeah, I mean,
That was, and there's a lot more than 5 houses.
yeah, I do know that 1,000 pounds on a roof, it could strike on an older house like that. I know that we approved some dormer windows, which are a lot heavier than that, but still, for Kelly and Michael Barrett's house, and they ended up not doing them because they found out it was gonna be $30,000 for engineering, because you put weight on one side of these old houses. It kind of, yeah.
Are we open to talking about, a replacement as far as,
My inclination at the moment would be, if you had a motion, would be to accept removal of the chimney. I don't
So
see
what chimney?
the removal of the chimney.
The removal of the chimney.
Because I don't see.
is that a motion?
No, I'm saying
Oh, no,
if there
we're
were a
discussing
motion,
it. What
my
are you gonna
comment
do
would
with
be,
I think that there's it's either I think if we're gonna remove it, we just remove it and
Yeah.
put we don't ask for them to put anything else up.
Yeah, I mean, I can see if it's a house, but to me, a business,
Well, it used to, I guess it used to be a bar, right?
no, it used to be a brothel. It was just in the
Oh,
Kelly
I
house.
didn't know
It
it was
was
a
just in the peak, and upstairs was a brothel, and yeah.
I think given all the factors for this particular building,
Yeah.
I think that, excuse me, I think the easiest solution is to just remove the chimney at the roof line, patch it up, or, re-roof and call it done.
So
That's-
No, that's what I
I
said.
heard, but so let's say we have all of the people that own houses in town come in and say they want to remove their chimneys. Would that make Mendocino less charming, less historic?
Yeah, probably. There's
Right?
some houses that would, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. So I just think we have to think about that before we set that kind of precedent.
My comment is, these don't set precedent, that they are individual cases, and, in this case, I'd be asking the same questions if somebody wanted to remove their chimney, is there a possibility of replacing it? Can it structurally be done? And if the answer was the same as the answer we just got, I would say, okay, I think we're cooked.
We could make a note that it's an exception, because exceptions are made on even the sign dimensions and stuff in town, so.
Yeah.
We could say that.
Unless you feel like they should do the faux chimney, we can certainly discuss.
No, I mean, it crossed my mind that maybe it could be moved to a more structurally sound part of the building. Am I allowed to open it back up once we?
Yeah,
We are,
I
okay.
think so.
We're
Yeah,
rebuilding
the
it.
chair.
We're rebuilding a chimney in Port Bragg. It's quite a bit newer than this, but it's very rare that it's this far degraded below the roof level. So oftentimes chimneys can be rebuilt from like the roof line up. That's very common. I think a lot of this had to do with whoever tried to monkey with it by adding the additional weight, 50, 60 years ago, that caused this to be degraded the way it is. But I will say that in the future, hopefully a lot of these chimneys can be redone structurally from the roof line up. So I think with respect to your structural integrity, angle of this, I think that's applicable, that a lot of these chimneys probably could be salvaged, this not being one of them.
So I'd like to propose a motion that we accept the, what number it is, my isn't that good, MHRB 2026-0003 as written, with a comment that this is primarily due to the structural problems involved and is not a permission to do this on every chimney that comes in front of us. It's just kind of
Not to set a precedent.
Yeah, not to set a
I think we have a motion now.
Well, I just wanted a clarification because when Sandy read her recommendation, it was to put a faux chimney on there. So is the actual.
No, the actual permit is.
So that was, but just to be clear when you're making your motion, that's the one.
All right, so we have a motion and a second.
Who's second?
I second.
Christine?
If I may, through the chair.
Yeah, the short last needs to be shortened. It's too long.
If I may, through the chair. Steph Ariano has comment. Did you have a comment?
Sure. In reference to the comment last made by the board, when it comes to the alternative of replacing it, that was an alternative, should the board decide to go that route.
Thank you.
And that being said, I would also like to make a comment about the condition of approval that was implemented as an alternative to have that removed from
Correct. I just want, when he was making the motion, I wanted to
from
be
the motion. Sorry.
clear
Super clear.
that was what we were.
All right, so we have a second and do your magic over there.
Okay, so for the record, the board has a motion on the table a motion on the table and a second to approve the project as recommended within the staff report with a modification with the removal of condition number 6 written in the staff report.
Did you read that?
And that, for the record, that condition number 6 is about the faux chimney not being required.
Okay.
But that nothing else will go up.
So, for the record, Mendocino Historical Review Board Application 2603, the request is to remove a structurally unsound brick chimney. The staff report and hearing packet presented to you provided an alternative. And the motion on the table is to approve the removal of the chimney without staff recommendations number 6, which states the applicant shall install a faux chimney which matches the physical proportions and character of the existing chimney. So if we approve with the modifications to the staff report to remove condition number 6, the chimney would be removed.
Okay, understood.
I'm just making sure that that is the motion.
Yeah.
Approve the staff report with
Alan's motion.
exclusion of condition number 6.
Yeah.
No chimney.
Motion. And a comment that, if we didn't add comments to a motion, that this should not be seen as a precedent for future chimney.
Staff is going to further say 2 things for the record. It is the intent of the Mendocino Historical Review Board guidelines to not return the town to a bygone era, nor is it the intent to create an artificial atmosphere or to invite mimicry that will only caricature the past. The intent is to preserve and protect the special character and identity of the review board, and I think that that is exactly what you guys are talking about.
So you're saying that covers it's not a precedent comment?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, that's what I wanted to.
Also, for the record, to be clear, there is a duty to maintain that is written in the code about the obligation to maintain the structures. And it is very interesting. It does talk about how the interior of the building shall be maintained to preserve the exterior of the building. And I find it interesting that there is a deteriorated chimney that is on the inside that is not of the review board's preview. So I'm just pointing out, just as an opportunity to point out what the guidelines say and what the duty to maintain says. And so when a building collapses due to lack of maintenance, the duty to maintain, we don't want to get into unsafe structures that are collapsing upon themselves or other buildings. And so there's guidelines about that that's been well discussed, and I know I'm away from the voting option. I just want to give you guys a couple of key factors that are written in the review board's purview.
Thank you.
So, for the record, a motion is on the table and seconded to approve this review board application 2603 to remove the chimney with the exclude modifications to the conditions of approval number 6, and I will do a roll call vote, and I will go to Julian Lopez.
I'm gonna vote no. That's it.
And I will go to Deirdre Lamb.
Yes.
And I will go to Justine Herbert
Yes.
and Alan Sanders.
Yes.
And the motion passes 3-0 with one absent.
You want?
There's one absent.
3 to 1.
I know, but it's 3 to 1.
Three to one.
It wasn't 3 to
I
0.
didn't mean 3-0, thank you. I
You're
meant
welcome.
3 to 1 with one absent.
Sorry.
I'm so sorry.
Can
Staff,
I make a follow-on comment on the procedure, if I may, through the chair?
Sure.
yes, can I finish something?
Oh, sure, I'm sorry, I thought you had.
An action letter will be sent out to the applicant, stating what the amendments are, within the next 24 hours, stating what was approved with the revisions.
So I think, and I don't know how the process goes, but for future reference, I really appreciate planning coming up with the alternatives, but I think it kind of confused us. So I would recommend in future to address whether what's been requested can be done or not, and then if we get into a discussion about what the alternatives are, building and planning and come up with alternatives. But adding an alternative into the presentation, which was very good by the way, did rather confuse us. So I think the building plan needs to stick to, can you do this or can you not do this? And then when we get into discussion, if you have alternatives, we can bring them up then. I think would be a much better way to, that would avoid some of the confusion we just had. So I'm sorry to make it critical, but I think that's just guidance for you.
Thank you,
Alright.
Alan.
So we're moving on. Congratulations, you approved, and new roof will look nice.
Yes.
Okay, so now we're gonna go to back to the signs.
The signs.
So, we're gonna, item 7A, MHRB 2026-1, green. So which one's the green? Is that the, I don't know, this one I guess? With the bear and green, I don't know. So now do I go to the agent or the applicant?
So what we're going to do is we're gonna go to 7A or
7A.
11A. So you would ask staff, you would treat it just like a public agenda, so you would
Okay.
ask staff for a presentation.
Yeah, can I have a presentation?
You may. And we'll do them one at a time.
Okay.
Staff planner Jesse Waldman here for planning and building services, and we're presenting item 7A that was pulled from the consent calendar on today's agenda. The project is the Mendocino Historical Review Board application 2026-001. The application request is to install new signs, replacing the existing Rain Songs Shoes sign in the same location and size with brown, yellow, green, and blue colors stating good life, mercantile, groceries, and gifts. And the site is a category 1 structure. It's known as the Old Bakery, and it was a real estate office, and then it's been Rain Song Shoes for many years. The site is located at 10483 Lansing Street, Mendocino, within assessor's parcel number 119-15007. And presented with you within the staff report in front of you, there's been many historical review board sign permits on the site. It's a large site. Within the hearing packet is a site plan indicating specifically the location of the structure and pictures of the sign that is proposed with the existing. So existing and proposed signs are specified, and staff would recommend the review board review this, and there was no special conditions presented to staff. Not to approve the presentation,
Thank you.
and I have not received any public comment, and the agent is available if you have
Yeah, so now we'll ask the agent. to come up. Or out.
Good evening, my name is Rick Sachs, and I know we're dealing with just one of these signs right now, but a comment about both of them is they are both situations where a copy change on an existing sign, same size, same color, same location, is something that happens apart from the review board as a freebie. The only difference between what I'm proposing and what's free is both of these clients wanted different colors. And they wanted the colors enough to where they're putting up $1,000 a piece to get different colors.
Kim, thank you.
Thank you, Rick.
All right, anybody else? No public expression, so now we can turn it over to the board. Hey, Justine, you wanted to say some things?
Yeah, I just have a comment on these, is that when I go through the sign regulations at the back of the county code, which applies to the MHRD, there is a limit of a maximum of 6 square feet on any commercial sign. So when I looked at this, it was, it's in excess of that,
By far.
by far, but 24 inches by 96 on each side, the one that's like this. So that's a total of 16 square feet. So these signs are very much, they've been around for quite a while, so we're replacing in kind. That's my understanding. We're just,
We're replacing the copy, changing the copy and colors on an existing sign that was there pre-MHRB.
right, so I only brought it out of the consent item because I wanted to note that it's an exception to the basic signage square footage rule. That's my only comment on this.
Thank you. Anybody else care to comment?
Oh.
No? Okay. So now we can, somebody can,
Oh, wait.
I'd like to make a motion to
yeah, okay.
approve the 2 signs that were pulled from the consent.
I think we're just on one right now, we're on 7A.
No,
Can we do
we're-
both?
No.
No, 7A.
Okay, 7A, I'd like to make a motion to approve 2026-0001, Green Real Estate Enterprises, Teddy Winslow, the sign shop, Rick Sachs.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. So-
Roll call vote,
Yeah, can we just do a roll call vote?
your direction, Chair.
Roll call vote.
And Julia Lopez.
Yes.
And Justine Herbert.
Yes.
And Alan Sanders.
Yes.
And Jerry Lamb.
Aye.
And the motion passes 4-0 with 1 absent.
Right, and now we're gonna be moving on to item 7B, MHRD-2026-0002. Bear sign. Would you like to take the floor again?
Staff presentation again. Jesse Waldman, for the record, planning and building services. Thank you for the opportunity to present. Today we're presenting the Mendocino Historical Review Board application 2026-0002. The request is to install a new sign that is 12 inches by 60 inches. It's black and white, and it would state the Rule 62, fun, unique, and necessary. Note, the site is located on a Category 4A historical resource in the appendix to the Mendocino Town Plan. The non-historical buildings, previously known as the Ice Cream Parlor or Low Voyage. In our appendix, it was also Old Gold, I believe. The location is 45090 Main Street in Mendocino, and the assessor's parcel number is 119-238-20. And within the staff report, you will find pictures of the one moment. You will find a street view picture of the improvised with the new sign regulation, and staff reviewed, it is just a color copy change. It's not, color copies are not exempt for sign copies. That's what brings us here, and staff does not have any additional recommendations within the staff report, and no comments have been found. That concludes staff's presentation, and the agent is present if you have questions for either of us.
Thank you.
So,
Would the agent like to say anything further? This is your last chance.
I said what I had to say, thank you.
Okay.
I have a question.
Unless you have any questions.
Uh,
I actually,
Deidre, yeah.
through the chair, is that double-sided roof?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's the same on both sides?
Same on
On
both
Main
sides.
Street. Okay,
One side gets more sun than the other.
yeah, no, I saw the shoe
No,
shop
no,
moved,
I-
yeah.
I was going.
Okay, so we'll move it to the board. Anybody say anything? Justin, would you like to say anything else?
Well, I just note that this is another exception to the 6 square foot limit on signage.
Thank you. 12 inches, like 6 inches, 1 foot, like 5
This
foot.
is,
I have one
It
more
is
question.
6 square feet.
it says here it's 12 inch by
60 inches, that's 1 foot by 5
So that's
foot.
1 by 5. Actually, yeah, you're right.
That's 5 square feet.
Yeah,
It's 5 square feet.
Deidre,
You're
anything?
absolutely right.
You wanted to
No,
say something?
I was gonna say that I think that is 6 feet.
All right, so anybody want to I think you were going to say something about a motion?
I mean,
So I propose a motion that we accept whatever numbers.
We have a second?
I second the motion.
All right, can I do the one where I don't have to do the roll call vote? What's that one called?
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
Any opposed?
Gets.
All right, so
Thank you.
now we're gonna go to the matters from the board, is that right?
Correct.
Do we have anything that we wanna talk about? Anything you wanna bring up?
Good evening.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gordon.
Report from the chair? No, that's me, nothing. Okay, management staff?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so, Planner Wolfman, we have another referral. There's a coastal development, Planner Wolfman, Mendocino County Planning and Building Services. So, we have a coastal development permit application, CDP 2025-0030. The request is an administrative coastal development permit request to reconfigure the exterior stairway deck and including the alteration of the existing dimensions of the building. The site location is located within the town of Mendocino on the east side of Caston Street, approximately 150 feet north of its intersection with Ukiah Street, County Road 407C, and it's located at 10551 Caston Street, that's County Road 407L, and the town of Mendocino with an assessor's parcel number 119233-01. And the referral packet is part and process for coming to the review board today is to request the review board for any comments that you may have. Staff would like to point out that about 2 months ago, Mendocino, the board approved an MHRD permit to do the exterior stairwell system, and at that time, the board approved the project with amending the staff's recommendations of a condition that stated that the project required a coastal development permit. The applicant brought in a coastal development application to our office because a coastal development permit is required to alter the exterior dimensions of this structure. That is what we're here for you in front of you today. Staff has presented, staff has reviewed the proposal, and the proposal is identical to the previously approved Mendocino Historical Review Board permit. This is the red building where the old pharmacy used to be on the corner of Caston and Ukiah Street. You guys remember the amendments to that review board permit. So this is just another referral process, part of the due diligence of the staff working through a coastal development permit. If you do have comments, we will ask for those to be stated clearly, recorded for the record, and brought back to the coastal permit administrator at its hearing. Do you have any questions?
Through the chair.
Yes.
Hi. Yes, I do have a question. Okay, so I'm a little confused. Okay, so we approved a number of items on that 3-story red building, on their permit. And so I'm confused as to what you're asking us to approve again or make comments on. Is it, we approved the outdoor stairway, we approved the dome in the front, on the balcony, we approved all those items. So I thought that was already approved. So what are we here to ask, to make comments on?
So I will step back just a little bit and I will say that approximately 2 to 3 months ago, the applicant obtained a permit with your board, with the review board,
Correct.
for the proposed exterior modifications to the building.
Right,
And the board approved it
right,
with an amendment to exclude a condition that was recommended by planning. And that condition that was excluded by the review board stated that it required a CDP. And the review board cannot exempt a project from a coastal development permit.
correct.
There's been no changes in the coastal development permit project presented for request for your comments. No change, but they cannot build the building without a coastal development permit, regardless of whether the board says they approve the condition for a CDP or not.
Thank you.
No changes in the proposal.
So you're just saying, do we have any more comments
Yes.
about it? Okay. No,
Yeah.
I don't.
No?
I mean, we've already been down that
All
road.
right, I think we're all in agreement that we don't have anything else to say. So, anything else from the staff?
The staff would just like to verify that there is comment, or it's a unanimous no
I think
comment
it's
from the
unanimous.
board.
No.
No comment here.
Thank you. And, could you just do I'm sorry,
Roll.
I feel like it needs a roll call. I think I might get
All
some
right,
more
I make a
direction.
motion that we make no comment to the Ferguson, application that came, CDP 2025-0030 referral.
All right.
Second.
Thank you.
Vote.
What's the, I missed, what's the thing without the roll call?
All
All in favor, there we
Voice
go.
vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Any opposed? Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, and I think that wraps it up for the meeting here.
All right.
And that was